a variety of uses of the infinitive in Latin. Because of this, we'll be splitting up our discussion of the infinitive in context into a couple of different presentations. Today, we're going to talk about the more simpler uses of the infinitive. Recall that the infinitive is technically a noun. Because it's a noun, it can serve as the subject in sentences. This is called a subjective infinitive. So, for example, dolere malum est, where the infinitive dolere is the subject of est. We can translate it to suffer pain. That's dolere, is an evil. But English often uses the ing form when it's the subject or object. So it might sound nicer to say suffering pain is an evil. We've also seen the subjective infinitive in constructions with necessa and other words. Necessa est mori, it is necessary to die. I'm sorry that sounds so morbid, but it's a quote from Cicero. Lots of impersonal verbs have infinitives as their apparent subject. Gubernare me taedebat. Governing was tiring me, or I suppose you could say, I was tired of ruling. That's another Cicero quote. There are also certain verbs out there that just take an infinitive in order to complete their meaning. This is called the complementary infinitive. We've already seen words like these: possum, volo, nolo, soleo, and audeo. Cicero potest dicere. Cicero is able to speak. Just saying Cicero is able, Cicero potest, leaves the entire meaning of the sentence unfinished. So really, the infinitive is absolutely necessary in this use. Here's a list of verbs and their meanings that typically take a complementary infinitive. You'll find that these words tend to be very basic. Now, if you wanted to say, I order you to leave, eubeo te abire, you would be using what's called an objective infinitive. Here, let's try to explain this better with another sentence. This one without an infinitive. Magister docuit pueros linguam latinam. The teacher taught the boys Latin. In this sentence, we have two objects. Who did the teacher teach? That's the boys, the pueros. And what did he teach? That's Latin, linguam latinam. And that's why both pueros and linguam latinam are in the accusative case. This is technically called a double accusative. Now, let's swap out Latin, linguam latinam, for an infinitive. Magister docuit pueros pugnare. The teacher taught the boys to fight, or how to fight, or fighting. But just as linguam latinam was the object of docuit, so pugnare is also the object of docuit. This is the objective infinitive. Now, the complementary, subjective, and objective uses of the infinitive are the three most basic ones. Next time, we'll investigate how Latin uses infinitives in indirect statements.